Hello, I'm Matt Russell and I would like to welcome you to the channel. In this video, I am going to show you how we are upcycling some reclaimed bald cypress barn wood into kitchen utensil hangers. I work with our tools in a manner that I am comfortable with. Ensure you follow all safety instructions from the manufacturers of the tools that you use, as failure to do so could result in serious injury or death. I am using a white Scotch-Brite pad to clean the dirt and debris off the reclaimed barn wood. I am using our Legacy Maverick CNC that we purchased in 2019. I am warming up the spindle as part of the startup procedure for the CNC at the beginning of the day. I am checking to see that the coolant is running through the spindle as it warms up. While the spindle is warming up, I mount the board down on the bed with some improvised MDF blocks on the left side of the board that are cut at a 35-degree angle, and Legacy's T-Track stop blocks on the right side. Oops. I am placing the Legacy Smart Tool sensor on the surface of the material. This process tells the CNC where the surface of the material Z height is located at. I manually move the spindle over the Smart Tool and then ensure that the Smart Tool sensor is working by touching the Smart Tool sensor to the bit while looking at the monitor to see that the indicator light turns green. This ensures that it is working, because if it is not, the machine will try to push the bit through the Smart Tool. The CNC touches the Smart Tool 2 times to indicate the location of the surface of the material. I move the Smart Tool sensor to its home reference point, and the machine touches off on the sensor so it knows the height of the material. In the Vectric Aspire file, I have set the Z0 as the top of the material. Vectric Aspire is the program I use to create the G-code to control the Legacy CNC router. I am installing a 60-degree V-bit to cut the inscription into the board. A V-bit gives square corners in the letters of the inscription instead of the rounded corners that an end mill would leave. Now the machine touches the V-bit off on the Smart Tool sensor, which tells the CNC where the end of the bit is. I have the dust collector door open so you can see what the bit is doing, and with my dust collection it collects most of the fine particles of dust even with the door open. Absent getting video, I keep the door closed so that the dust collection is more efficient. The skirt you see around the bristles of the dust collector shoe is there to keep my dust collector from sucking the bristles in the way of the bit and up into the dust port. It takes 3 minutes and 24 seconds to complete the V-carve, so I am speeding up the video for brevity. I am changing the V-bit out for a 1/4 inch drill bit. With the Maverick CNC you can use up to a 1/4 inch drill bit for drilling holes. I like to use the drill bit when I'm using dowels because it creates a hole with a nice tight fit on the oak dowel. It takes 1 minute and 44 seconds to drill the 20 dowel holes in the pair of utensil hangers, so I will speed up the video for brevity. I am changing out the 1/4 inch drill bit for a 1/8 inch compression end mill that I will use to drill the mounting holes and cut the utensil holder out. It takes 1 minute and 29 seconds to drill the mounting holes and cut the utensil holder out, so I will speed up the video. The total machine time was 9.5 minutes to machine the 2 utensil holders. I manually jog the spindle away from the work area so that I can access the workpiece. After the part is done at the CNC, I remove it and cut the tabs with a utility knife. I used a 1/16 inch radius roundover bit with a brass bearing to remove the tabs and give the edge a slight roundover. The tabs on this board were a little thick, so they didn't want to route off smoothly, so I subsequently switched out to a 1/8 inch radius roundover bit off camera. I am putting the first of 2 coats of gloss lacquer on the utensil holders. It provides protection for the wood and really makes the beautiful grain and patina of the wood pop. The lighter wood that you see at the top of the holder is where the barnwood siding was covered by another piece of wood called a batten, which prevented the sunlight and weather from discoloring this area of the wood. In between coats, I Scotch-Brite the boards. I am applying the second coat of gloss lacquer. I am using an attachment that I made with the CNC router that fits on our trim router to round over the 1/4 inch oak dowels. I have a 1/8 inch radius roundover bit installed in the router, and I twist the dowel in an opening that guides the dowel like a pencil sharpener, which rounds over the dowel. It isn't perfect, but it is better than I can do with a sander. I am cutting the dowels to 2 inches in length on our bandsaw. I am using an indexing block and the miter gauge to ensure each dowel is the same length. I am using a belt sander to bevel the end that will be inserted into the dowel holes to make them line up easier. I am using a rubber mallet to tap the dowels into their holes. I use a piece of 220 grit sandpaper to smooth up the end of the dowels and remove the light black mark left by the mallet. There are 2 mounting holes in the center of the utensil holder, so you can mount it directly into a stud if you want to. Or you could use expanding drywall fasteners if a stud is not quite in the right place. I had previously made 2 test utensil holders that are pictured for our home. In those I used brass cup hooks. The wooden dowels work better as some of the utensils do not fit on the hooks easily, and the dowels let you take the utensil straight off without tilting the utensil up. I encourage you to make your own utensil holder, as it makes cooking a whole lot more enjoyable because your tools are right there where you need them and not hidden away in a drawer somewhere. This is a project that can be made with a bandsaw, a drill, and a router, but the CNC makes it a whole bunch easier. If you would like one and don't have the tools or the time to make one of your own, please visit our website at www.wateroakworkshopllc.com. If you have a question or have something you would like to see made on a CNC router, please leave a comment. If you have enjoyed this video and it has earned your like, please hit the button. If you think this video can be useful to a friend, please share. If you would like to see more of our content, please subscribe. I hope that you have a wonderful day. And as a reminder, if you do the right thing, you don't have to worry about being wrong.